Devon Gonzalez and Brandon Ball have had a rivalry that has been festering for quite some time, both being local standout wrestlers with true animosity between these two warriors. They're anxious to be stepping into the cage and getting at it.
My name is Devon Gonzalez. I'm from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I train with Down to Fight Mixed Martial Arts. Winning this fight is really big since we're both hometown guys. I mean, this is my town at 135, and I'm going to prove it. I'm one of the best around, so big show like that, the publicity and everything that comes with it, I'm really stoked. I'm gonna handle him, give him his first loss, and make a statement as I do it.
My name's Brandon Ball. I train out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa with Hard Drive Mixed Martial Arts. My opponent is from actually down the street here, Devon Gonzalez. He decided that this would be a good time to lose.
I'm gonna look at Brandon Ball and he's gonna break.
It's been a lot of build up for this fight.
Thinks he's a lot better than everybody else.
Pretty soon, everybody's gonna see it for themselves.
I'm gonna be too explosive, too fast. My cardio is way too good for him.
Do whatever it takes, and in the end, it's who's gonna go further.
I'm going to win the fight. I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna make a statement.
We'll take you in after the fight. We could make you into something better over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Pinnacle Combat professional bantamweight fight scheduled for 3 rounds. It's being brought to you by Jersey's Pub and Grub. First, fighting out of the red corner with 2 wins and no losses, standing 5'8", 135 pounds. He was an Iowa State wrestling champion, a D3 All-American. Training with Hard Drive MMA from Columbus Junction, Iowa, Brandon Ball. Now, fighting out of the blue corner with 3 wins and 1 loss, standing 5'7", 135 pounds, a 2-time state wrestler, training with Down to Fight MMA from Mount Vernon, Iowa, Devon Blink Gonzalez.
Here we go, the co-main fight. My pick for fight of the night, although we'll see how it plays out. It is Devon Gonzalez and Brandon Ball. Welcome to the U.S. Cellular Center, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Pinnacle Combat 20 to the extreme. I'm Rob Spangler, joined by Nick the Cowboy from Hell Marin and Justin Taylor. Guys, can't wait for this one.
Yeah, this is our 3rd show here in Cedar Rapids and easily the most anticipated fight we've been able to put together. Brandon Ball, he's fought for us a couple times now. He was a state champion wrestler in Columbus Junction. Went and wrestled a season at Coe College, made it All-American right here in this building. Both these guys come from a wrestling background. He should be the more polished wrestler. It doesn't always translate in MMA. Gonzalez, on the other hand, has had a lot more cage time. So, those are 2 factors that'll definitely come into play in this fight. He's definitely a lot more experienced fighter, and been hit a lot more and come back from being hit and fought him a lot more minutes in the cage. So,
Gonzalez with a slam.
Like I said, big takedown there by Gonzalez. Ball rolling through, fishing for a reversal, gets it.
Ooh, some forearm smashes there from Ball.
Wow, we're only 1 minute into this.
Yeah, pretty good action on the ground here early. This is turning out to be a good fight. Ball throwing down some right hands on top mount.
Gonzalez doing a great job there recovering his guard.
Yeah, the crowd's reacting to everything here. This is the college football equivalent of Ohio State versus Michigan. You're not a casual fan in this crowd. There are lines drawn in the sand out there.
Yeah, you got the 2 rival teams, and then they both also came from big wrestling towns. Mount Vernon's got a solid wrestling program, and put a lot of kids in the state tournament, like Gonzalez, and Columbus Junction's had a bunch of state champion wrestlers and some state championship teams.
Oh.
Awesome scrambles.
Yes.
This is exactly what we expected out of this fight.
Yeah, that's a good wrestling action here, and Gonzalez almost looked like he's trying to lock something in on the head of Ball, but Ball pops right out.
Great transitions by these 2.
2 minutes, wow.
Ball trying to slide around the back of Gonzalez. Now he's on top.
He's got him mounted here.
Yep. He did some damage last time while he was on top of Gonzalez earlier.
Gonzalez did a good job there getting out of the mount, going to back, not rolling through. Just trying to make something happen. In sport jiu-jitsu, it's not the best way to get out, but in a fight in MMA, it's just a good way to get out of the bottom.
Devon Gonzalez with his back against the cage here. Brandon Ball. His head locked in. Now Gonzalez spins around.
Gonzalez keeps going, trying to get back mount. He had a stretch during his amateur career where he had 6 straight rear naked choke wins. So he keeps trying to come up with back mount. We'll see him keep continuing that. That scramble wound up giving a takedown out of that scramble. Looking for it.
Body slaps there from Ball.
See Mark Pongvan right there in the background cheering his teammate on. He just stepped out of the cage himself a few minutes ago. I like seeing that.
Yeah, these guys definitely put in a lot of hours together.
Now you can see the wrestling background from both of these guys here early in this fight. Trying to throw in the striking as well. But a lot of grappling, a lot of jiu-jitsu here early. Ball on top. He's been able to get in, I'd say, a few more shots here in this first round. But nobody's landed anything real heavy.
When the fights go to the ground like this, one of the things I like to do is kind of watch the fight within the fight. You know, the legs, the hand fighting, the leg fighting. You know, it's fun to watch the punches land, but if you watch these guys' legs, they're always trying to improve their position and work, kind of things in the back end, and that's how you get those sweet reversals and things like that.
Under a minute to go now here in the first round. This is the co-main event. Again, Brandon Ball in the white trunks and Devon Gonzalez in the black tight shorts. He's on the bottom.
Ball did a good job there controlling the hips. Gonzalez had him loaded up for kind of a buck and roll, and he shut it down. They're looking for a tip up there by hooking his foot in. Didn't happen. Kind of cage got in the way there.
Ball being a former state champion wrestler, you can see his wrestling has paid off. Really has some pretty good control here of Gonzalez. Round 1 in the books.
Yeah, that'll be the X factor. One of the 2 X factors, I think. I think Ball's wrestling, if it's that much better, which, on paper, he the D3 All-American, that speaks volumes. But Gonzalez, he's got 25 fights. He's just spent a lot of time in the cage. So there's your other factor. There's the experience.
Here we go.
The strategy I'd look for, but.
Round 2 underway. Devon Gonzalez versus Brandon Ball, co-main event here at Pinnacle Combat 20.
But strategy-wise, Devon's got a ton of submission wins. So that may be his best game is just that. So
both fighters went down for a second. Now Gonzalez throwing some shots, and Ball goes right for the quick takedown and gets on top.
I think he landed a couple of those shots. My vantage point wasn't real good.
Yeah, I think so too, which is I think why Ball quickly went for the takedown. Ball has had some success throwing punches while on top, but Devon Gonzalez now using the elbow. That's always an effective weapon when you're underneath.
The Ball's been having some success there with that forearm and the elbow when he's on top. I think any chance he gets, maybe just keep dropping that on you. Even if it doesn't land clean, that doesn't feel good.
What about those body slaps that you see Ball kind of doing? Does that do anything?
Just open hand strike. It's just it can be a bit of an annoyance, and it can soften you up a bit.
I think you can get. I don't think you need quite the range of the closed fist punch with those open hand strikes. I think you can do them from different angles.
Here comes Gonzalez now. Looked like he wanted to stand, and Ball once again going to get on top again.
I will say, you know, there's people that left one gym for the other, going both ways, and it may be the Ball's advantage that more the guys that have come from DTF to go to hard drive are more in his weight class and his weight range. There's, you know, been some named guys go the other way, and they're bigger guys, and I don't know that they maybe spend as much time on the mat to give some pointers, and I don't know that they would do that in the first place. But you know, when you have training partners in common, you know, things are going to pick up, and I think that you know, weight class wise and weight wise, I think that may be a factor in Ball's favor.
Gonzalez trying to get his way out. Oh, and now Ball almost worked in the rear naked, but Gonzalez able to slip out.
I think that was smart of Ball there. I think he went for it, realized, hey, I don't have anything, so instead of giving up his position, he let it go and continues to maintain his good position on top here.
Yeah, and as far as scoring goes, he may not have landed a ton of strikes, but he has definitely had control on top, and he's been able to just kind of pepper Gonzalez with some hammer fists and, you know, open hand body shots, as Nick was saying.
Yeah, he's definitely controlling things on the ground, controlling the pace, where it's going. Gonzalez is doing everything he can. He's trying to get out of there, to his credit, but Brandon Ball's not letting him up.
When you have a tight round like the first round, you know, Ball had a little more octagon control, but hexagon, excuse me. But Gonzalez did have the one big takedown in the round too, so it may be a tougher round to score than some people would think.
Gonzalez again got to his feet, and then just as soon as he gets there, Ball back on top. Really showing his grappling expertise is Brandon Ball in this fight.
You know, and sometimes we'll get these fights where a better wrestler smothers a fighter the whole fight and just kind of lays on, doesn't do a lot. Brandon's not doing that. He's improving his position. He's trying to get the mount.
Well, and he continues to throw strikes. Now, they're not high-impact strikes, but they do add up after time, don't they, Nick?
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of like a jab in boxing, you know. He doesn't look like he's been hit very much or very many times, and then the round ends, and when they come back, his eyes are swollen shut. Just a volume. If face is really easy to damage. You don't have to hit it hard to do a lot of damage.
There's a flurry from both fighters.
Yeah. You can see Gonzalez really trying to strike from his back.
Yeah, I think he was sneaking those elbows and punches through it.
Well, that's an Eric Wisely technique. We've seen Eric Wisely do that so effectively.
He's won rounds off his back by doing that.
This has got to frustrate Gonzalez too. I mean, I wonder how much this is messing with his head. He does have, 25-some fights, so he's a veteran. But at some point, you've got to get real sick of being a guy on top of him. You can't get him off.
Absolutely. And round 2 is in the books, so we're going to head to the third round here. Brandon Ball, I would say, on the scorecard, you got to probably give him the edge, don't you, Nick?
Yeah, I think that's a solid 10-9 round for Ball on just volume of shots and control, obviously. See, there was that big takedown from the first I was talking about.
I don't know. I think Devon Gonzalez probably has to try and keep this on the feet to have a shot.
There's no question these guys are both going to be in shape, but there's so many things that play into cardio. I mean, injuries, take the gas tank out of you.
And Ball immediately goes for the takedown here.
These guys have been in just a grappling war. Fight or flight syndrome. This is a big fight, and Brandon jumping right to rear naked choke there.
And he gets it.
Finishes.
We about have to peel Keone off the roof here. He is extremely excited after that.
Brandon Ball victorious. Gets the submission win in the third round. Heck of a fight tonight, too.
Absolutely. And like I said, the respect between these two in the cage is amazing. Sometimes the war of words, not necessarily between the guys from the gym, but the fans can get a little nasty online. So I hope in a good way this kind of kicks off a rivalry even a little bit more, and we see more of these fights between these gyms.
Let's send it to our ringside announcer, Dean Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your Pinnacle Combat Bantamweight fight, referee calls a stoppage, round 3, 18 seconds, with a rear naked choke. Your winner, Brandon